Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Bradford series. Bradford is a hugely important city in West Yorkshire. A lot of it is unparished, but there are 20 of them here, so let's dive into one of them today. Welcome back to Bradford, people. I have Nikki with me today. The last time you were here, Nikki, it was all snowy in this valley, wasn't it?
It certainly was. It's a different story today, but it is just a little bit cold.
Well, there might not be any snow, but there's still plenty of beautiful things to look at as we explore Denholme. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Denholme in the City of Bradford is a civil parish with town status. It lies 8 miles away from Bradford city centre, 7 miles from Keighley and roughly the same distance from Halifax. The name Denholme is probably of Viking origin. It supposedly means a flat amongst the hillside. This is a good description of the town's geographical setting, since it's located in a broad-sided valley. However, an alternative suggestion is that Denholme was an island in an area otherwise covered by marshland. Therefore, it could mean the water meadow in the valley. Given the area has many springs and some marshy terrain in places, it seems possible. Whatever the case, Denholme is a big place, and it's still growing. The most important family associated with Denholme is the Fosters. Many Victorian houses in the town were built by them for workers in their local textile mills. Denholme had 3. The first mill, started in 1838, was never completed and blew down in 1839. The second was larger, but it burnt down in 1857. The third has only recently been demolished. Recent years have seen the closure of other manufacturing industries in the town, including joinery and constructional timber. The majority of residents are now commuters, but the Foster name still lives on. So that's Denholme in a nutshell. Let's go and see it then, shall we? Our walk starts on Main Road, the A629. It was off this road that the last of Denholme's textile mills was located. In 2005, it was demolished. It was the base of Pennine Fibres, and now these new houses on the left here stand in its place. Denholme had 2 other mills, one blew down, the other burnt down. Here's a bus stop. There are 2 main services through the town. These are the 67 to Bradford and the 502 to both Keighley and Halifax. Next, a shop, which was closed. Denholme has a selection of shops though, as well as a post office, a charity shop, a farm shop and 2 pubs called the Royal and the New Inn. It also has a garage, Hoyle's, which is on this bend towards the south of the town. It might be small as towns go, but it still has enough to be self-sufficient. Let's head up into a housing estate next. This is 7 acres. Although it looks new, there is an old building in here, which I thought was worth mentioning. Now, one thing the Royal Mail do in this country is they pride themselves on the fact that they deliver to every address in the United Kingdom. However, they won't be delivering anything to this house. And the reason is because it doesn't have an address. It's an unoccupied, addressless building, and it's even marked on the map as such. There are some out there like this. They're very rare. Now this one apparently is one of them. We're climbing a hill now, and you know what they say, the higher you climb, the better the view. And that's especially true from up here. Originally, Denholme would have developed along the main road and has since expanded outwards. This estate is a good example, as it's much newer than most of the town. However, it's not long before we're back into the Victorian terraces. On William Street, we come across the local doctor's surgery. Nikki noticed that all of these streets seem to have a royal connection. They're named after various kings and queens, George, William and Mary being the most obvious. The first purpose-built school in Denholme was erected in 1870 at Lodge Gate. This was in use until the mid-1970s, when it was replaced with this new school on Minorca Mount. Opposite the school is Denholme Conservative Club, a social club which offers a venue for various events in the local area. Okay, so we're effectively now at the top of the hill, which means everything else is either flat or downhill. I saw you punch the air there, Nikki. I don't think the hills are that bad. They're certainly not as steep as they were in Haworth. So.
Yeah, but when you're not 100%, they're terrible.
So effectively now what we're doing is we're heading for the main road and a few other bits and bobs on the other side of said main road. But to get there, we've first got to traverse this little housing estate, which isn't very big. And go downhill. Ooh. And on the way, we've got the scout hut. I'm just going to put my GoPro through the railings here so you can get a better view of the scout hut. Here we go. There you go. That's just at the back of the Conservative Club, which you've just seen. Now we're heading back to the A629, which involves traversing this footpath, probably one of the narrowest we've ever had to walk down. Here's Nikki showing us just how thin this little path is.
Really? Holy moly, that's thin.
At the foot of the hill almost is a notable house. This is the old cobbler's cottage. We have no information on this, but it was worth a mention. On the other side of the A629, we spotted a tiny burial ground, which is surrounded by residential properties. The plot it occupies was recently sold for £10,000. Now we're on Foster Park Road, which gives us our first mention of the Foster name. They were the family who built Denholme's textile mills and most of the town's houses. Bearing their name is Foster Park, which was given to the people of Denholme in 1912 by William Foster, and it's still going strong today. Right, there's a few interesting things here in Foster Park. We're going to have a look at them in a moment, but we've just walked across to the edge of the park because there's a great view along here. In the very sort of far distance you can see some kind of factory billowing out some steam. I don't know what that is, but we've been talking about it all morning, haven't we? Yeah. Wondering what it is. In the middle distance you've got a reservoir, which you can see there. Now I'm going to talk about that in today's special section, which is coming up at the end of this video. Quite an interesting reservoir, and I think it's well worthy of a special section of its own. There's some allotments here as well, close by, that'll keep the fans happy. They're a bit sparse, but yes, there are some. They are sparse, yes, but Denholme has some. So, right, let's go and see what Foster Park has got. There's lots in here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I tell you what, there's something for everybody in this park, bar none.
So here's some of the features of the park, but we had no idea what this was. It has a weather vane on top of it, and the bottom looks like the base of a water pump. A landmark feature of the park has always been its war memorial, but many additions have been made over the years, including this rather ornate bandstand. These days, Foster Park has a bowling green, a skate park, a playground, a youth cafe, and a basketball court. Every year, it holds a children's gala, usually on the first Saturday of July. It's also got some football pitches. Denholme United AFC is the local football team, and they play their home games at Foster Park. 100 metres or so south of the bandstand is the town's war memorial. There are 61 names on this, 56 from World War I and 5 from World War II. Nikki then noticed these newly planted trees in one of the park's corners, and it didn't take long to work out what they were. So what kind of trees are they, Nikki?
Apples.
Apples.
Orchard.
Gonna be an orchard.
By the look of things, got some early spring bulbs coming up in between as well. You can't see them because you're too far away, but there's some early spring flowers coming up as well. So yeah, brilliant.
Nice one. Right, now we're heading down a set of steps to the south of the park. We're heading for the site of Denholme's old railway station. To the south of the park is Station Road. You're looking here at Station House and the site of Denholme Railway Station, which opened in 1884. It closed to passengers in 1955 and closed completely in 1961. Most of its buildings were then demolished. At 850 feet above sea level, Denholme was the highest station on the Great Northern Railway. After closure, the station yard was converted into a sawmill, but even that has now closed. These houses now stand on the site. There are 72 homes here, and at the time of filming, none of them were occupied. The housing scheme was met with some criticism because part of the Great Northern Railway Trail will pass through the site, taking in some of the old railway tunnels which are close by. It will share some of these houses' driveways. As part of the development though, the condition of Station Road was vastly improved. It had been littered with potholes, but now it's super smooth. Now I'm kind of glad it's sunny here today because it means I can show you the view across to the church in the distance over there. Now I'm actually going to talk about that from here because actually parking up in that part of Denholme and walking around is actually very difficult to do. So I think from Station Road is the easiest way to tell you about Denholme Gate. In 1800, long before the Fosters arrived, the largest landowner here was William Buck, who was a barrister. His land would pass down through the generations. Looking across this small valley, you can see Denholme Gate and the former parish church of St Paul, a Grade II listed building built in 1846 on land formerly owned by the Buck family. The building was paid for by Messrs Eli and Benjamin Foster. No longer in use, it's been converted and has even been featured in the BBC TV show Homes Under the Hammer. The churchyard can be visited by prior arrangement with the owners. We continue up Station Road and the Victorian houses start to reappear. At the top is Carpley Crescent, named after Carpley Beck, a stream which crosses the valley and feeds Doe Park Reservoir. And speaking of street names, here is Stradmore Road, which preserves Denholme's link to the Buck family. William Buck came from Stradmore in South Wales. So I think it's fair to say that Denholme is basically gentle hills. They're not Haworth type hills. Although
Tell that to my back.
You've managed fairly well though, to be fair.
Yeah.
And those wellies on your feet have definitely come into their own this morning, haven't they?
They definitely helped, yeah. Goodbye these ones.
Yeah, certainly going to help with all the muddy footpaths we go down. So there's only one section left on this walk and it's the main road where all Denholme's basic amenities are. But Nikki's just noticed this nature garden on the other side of Foster Park. So we're going to go and have a little look at this before we tackle the last part of this walk. Let's have a little look at this. Is that a beehive in the corner?
Sure, let's have a look. So the planters have been purchased by Denholme Council and supplied by Keighley Nurseries. So let's have a look. So we've got a butterfly bath.
Oh right, that's that there.
It's like insect hotel.
Yep.
Some planters. There's some bird boxes and bird tables. So it looks like it's a work in progress, but it's quite a nice little addition to this park because it gives a bit of nature.
It's like I said earlier, there's something for everybody in this park, isn't there?
Yeah, most definitely. It's like, here's one of the feeding tables and then there's another feeding table over there. There's a nesting box up there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these will be bug hotels over there.
Yeah, they will be, yeah. Really good.
Very good.
Very good. There's a handful of landmarks in the town centre which include the Foresters' Hall, which was built in 1855. It's directly opposite the library. The library is the town's old Mechanics' Institute, and both buildings contain assembly rooms. The library also has the parish notice board on the wall. This is the centenary lamp, which used to stand in Foster Park. In 2007, it was moved back to this spot where it once originally stood, marking 100 years since it was presented to Councillor Foster. Unveiled at the same time was this small garden, which was planted in memory of Diana, Princess of Wales. This stone close by is dated 2012. It marks the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. And almost as if by design, our last thing to see is a pub called the Royal. According to What Pub, this is a games-oriented local with a comfortable lounge and public bar. A nice way to end a walk around the town. Just to the east of Denholme is Doe Park Reservoir, a massive body of water on which you find the Doe Park Water Activity Centre. Doe Park is Bradford's specialist centre for outdoor educational activities, both on land and on the water. These include sailing, canoeing, kayaking, dragon boating and raft building. Activities on land include a high ropes facility, abseiling and an aerial obstacle course. One thing that's not permitted, however, is fishing. Close to the reservoir is a tunnel, one of 4 driven for the Great Northern Railway. You can still see some relics of the railway infrastructure on nearby footpaths. The Doe Park name derives from the little-known fact that Denholme once had a deer park. Denholme Gate, Cullingworth Gate and Thorn Gate were all sited on the actual gate entrances to the park. This is also why Denholme Cricket Club, Denholme United and Denholme Primary School all have a deer on their logos. Okay, we're back at the car. I think that's taken us about an hour and a half. That's actually been a really good walk. I've enjoyed that. Nikki is just getting some mud off her shoes, off her boots. Yep. Now when you've done that, Nikki, I spotted something just as I was walking back to the car, which you might be interested in. Over there, there's a small graveyard, a very, very small one, smaller, even smaller than the one we saw earlier. So let's go across there and just check it out. So it turns out that this little graveyard, it's only got about 4 or 5 stones in it, was the site of Denholme Baptist Church, 1851 to 1980? Yeah. 1980. So it looks to be within the grounds of this house here.
Yeah, and it looks like the steps are edged with some gravestones on both sides.
Yep.
And then obviously you've got some burials here and some more gravestones at the sides now. Whether or not those, I mean obviously these gravestones at the edges are not going to be over the graves where people were originally. They may be within the grounds of this property, which validates what I said to you earlier.
Yes, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a cute little quirk, isn't it?
Very much.
A graveyard in someone's back garden. Amazing.
Front garden.
Front garden even, yeah.
Yeah.
The last part of this tour of Denholme takes us through Denholme Edge. On this little drive up to the top, we pass a church on the left and a cricket club on the right. The church is what's known as a shared church, a partnership of 3 denominations: Baptist, United Reformed and the Church of England. It occupies the former United Reformed Church, which is a Grade 2 listed building. As for cricket, Denholme has 2 teams: Denholme Cricket Club, who play in the Craven and District Cricket League, and Denholme Clough Cricket Club, who play in the Towergate Halifax Cricket League. Denholme Edge is also where the new inn is located. You might have seen that as we drove up the hill. The last landmark is Denholme Edge itself, which we can access from Ogden Lane. It's a large mountain-like outcrop which overlooks the valleys below, and it's crossed by a network of footpaths. We're going to climb it and have a look at what can be seen from the top. So rather understandably, Nikki is not going to come up here with me to Denholme Edge to have a look at the view after all the hills we've already walked up. I can't blame her. However, I am a little more enthusiastic about walking up here. So yeah, let's climb all the way to the top and have a look at the view. Okay, I'm not quite at the top, but I'm virtually there. This view is absolutely magnificent. Check this out. It was well worth the effort climbing all the way up here. It's a long walk actually. Loads of things in the distance. Look at the dales and how the sun is catching them. It's brilliant. There's a viaduct in the middle distance. I can't quite tell which one that is, but I assume that's Hewenden. Not totally sure. I don't really know my bearings here. I haven't got my phone on me either, so I don't know, but I think it's Hewenden because there's a reservoir just below it, so it's probably Hewenden. But isn't this fantastic? It's no wonder that Bronte country is loved by so many people. It's no wonder the Brontes love this area. It's absolutely fantastic. I would love to live out here, but of course I don't. It's just nice to come as a visitor. Anyway, that's been the parish of Denholme, and I do hope you have enjoyed it. I know we have. It's been absolutely fantastic from start to finish. And it's time for me to move on to my next one here in the city of Bradford. I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot. I'm out.